Welcome to Three Girls, One Track, your go-to podcast for listening to two sisters and their cousin try and get into Formula One. We're here to break down the ins and outs of what happens on the track and especially what happens off of it. Listen in weekly to get your fill of F1 gossip, race outcomes, and which Lewis Hamilton Fashion Week outfit we thought was the hottest.
All right, so we do have to cover a non-F1 topic at the top of the podcast.
Yeah.
At the end of last podcast, we took some time to speculate on what was going on with Kate Middleton.
Speculate wildly.
Speculate semi-wildly. And it has come out that Kate Middleton was in treatment for cancer, is going to continue undergoing treatment for cancer. So we're sending lots of healing vibes her way.
I think
and prayers and vibes.
Prayers and vibes, of course.
Absolutely.
I also think that the royal family has to carry and shoulder a lot of the blame, because if they were just a little bit more honest and forthcoming with information, then I think you don't give people as much room to sort of speculate and, the gossip rumors to kind of form into big old conspiracy theories. So I'm going to put a lot of that blame on the royal family, deservedly so. So yeah.
I think it's wild that they threw a woman with cancer under the bus for the editing. I think that's crazy.
Oh, they did it for the plot. Crazy. And that poor woman.
That's crazy.
Listen, well wishes and prayers in her direction.
But sending lots of good vibes over her way.
Absolutely.
So, with that said, we had a race this weekend. So, we're going to get into it, for the race. And we can kick it off. I know we're going to have our little cocktail of the week.
Well, this week is not a cocktail, but we'll discuss momentarily.
Oh,
are we discussing now? Are we ready to discuss now?
Yeah. Give us your cocktail.
Okay, well, so they're in Australia. Australia is not known for their cocktails. Australia is known for their wine. So today, we have a little red wine from Australia. So this is what's it called? It's a Pepper Jack 2017 Shiraz. It's from Southern Australia, like Melbourne. And so we're going to enjoy a little red wine because if I'm being honest, I think that the twists and turns of this race deserve wine more than a cocktail. So let's talk. Yes.
Had to give a second for the ASMR wine pour.
Glug glug.
Felicia, do you want to give us the notes that this wine gives you? Are you a wine taster?
Am I allowed to be that nerdy in my tasting notes? Okay.
I'll give you 30 seconds for a sommelier run.
Oh, okay.
Can y'all hear that?
Bex is having some construction difficulties on her end.
My neighbor said really.
Oh my God. Not hear any of those construction
I'll just
so don't worry
myself when I hear it.
Okay, I'll just give you guys a little notes on the back a little bit. So it's a tribute to South Australia's rich winemaking heritage. Traditional techniques and eye on modern styles allow us to create wines that reflect our passion for this special place. Rich, honest wines that showcase our region in its most natural light. So, ruby red in color with soft purple hues, this wine displays aromas of blackberries and plums, supported by characteristics of pepper and spice. The palate is rich, round, and soft with the concentrated berry fruit and hints of anise. 12 months barrel maturation in seasoned and new oak has enhanced the complexity, velvety tannins, and length of flavor. This wine can be enjoyed now, but will improve with some careful cellaring.
Wow.
I just read that off the back of the bottle. I don't know jack about wine, but this wine tastes good. I will say that.
Dang, okay. Run out and get that Australian wine. I guess.
Oh, yes. I've made sure to get something that is very widely available. So, I got this at Kroger, I think. But
She'll keep it posted.
I keep it affordable and reachable. Let's be real.
Is it sweet?
No, you would not like this. I'm so sorry, Bex. You would not like this.
You don't know what I like.
I do know what you like. I do know what you like in regards to alcohol, and I know it's not this. Yep.
Anyway, moving on.
Moving on. I personally,
but I know I like it.
In honor of our wine night, I'm having beautiful from California.
What do you have?
Foot Moscato.
Get out.
From California. From California.
From California.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Stella Rosa? What are you?
No, it's Bigfoot. It's Bigfoot. I don't drink Stella Rosa. I have some standards.
Not some standards.
I have a little bit of standards.
Well, to keep up with the theme, I am drinking ginger ale.
Get out. You get on my nerves.
Okay, wait. Open yourself up for canceling. What brand of ginger ale are you drinking?
Oh.
Who?
What brand of ginger ale are you drinking?
Canada Dry.
Yes.
All right. Okay, good.
Yes.
All right.
We don't do Schweppes over here, whatever.
We do not do Schweppes. I had Schweppes the other day. I was wanting to die.
Why did you have that?
So much of Maryland only has Schweppes when you go out.
But then why are you drinking ginger ale? Just have something else.
Because I asked for ginger ale, and then they bring it, and then I read that it's Schweppes, and it's bad.
Yeah.
Canada Dry supremacy.
Yeah.
Schweppes Canada Dry bold.
Bubbly, but not in a good way.
Mm-hmm. It's sugar water. It tastes like sugar water.
Ginger flavored sugar water.
Yeah.
Yes.
Canada Dry all the way. Canada Dry bold. Cranberry Canada Dry. 10 toes down.
All the holiday flavors that they come out with at Christmas time.
So good.
Hits.
Oh my God. Hits every time.
Hits.
All right. This is a Formula One podcast, so I guess we should eventually start talking about Formula One.
Oh, yeah, that might be a good idea.
We're going to start with Fashion of the Week.
Ooh.
All right. So, yes, we're going to do our Project Runways. We're going to do our What Not to Wear. Yes. In a rare turn of events, I think we might all agree on this week's What Not to Wear.
Yeah, I was kind of...
sorry, me and Bex agree on this week's What Not to Wear.
I think you agree with our choice, but it's not necessarily your choice.
Yeah.
Say that one more time.
I said you agree with our choice of what not to wear.
100%. I do agree with your choice.
Was it your choice?
Yes.
So we can start with that. My and Bex, What Not to Wear, was whatever Daniel Ricciardo was wearing.
Ooh,
with that white jacket, black pants with the white stitching, the Vans, whatever that was. I didn't like it. I think for your home Grand Prix to not stunt at least a little.
Oh my God.
Kind of crazy.
The shirt.
Oh, it is his home Grand Prix.
Shirt, jacket thing looks kind of like a bowling shirt.
It basically is a bowling shirt.
It was very bowling. It's giving it's giving slight shacket, but I don't know with the short sleeves. It's just I don't know. Daniel Ricciardo. I mean, I don't know. He has his own issues to deal with. I guess bigger than this whole how he dressed, but he dresses like he's still in his 20s, like early 20s. Like still trying to find his style, and I'm like, sir, you're almost 40. I don't know if you're almost 40, but he's in his 30s.
Almost 40.
But like, I don't know. He just dresses like a young 20-year-old, young teenager still trying to figure out his style. And I'm like,
he dresses like a frat boy.
No, not
I've
a
seen
frat boy.
boys dress better, man.
I have.
Honestly,
I have.
This could be really controversial.
Okay.
I honestly think Daniel would have looked better if he had rolled up in some regular jeans and a Vineyard Vines sweatshirt.
He really would have. He would have looked better.
If he pulled out the Vineyard Vines, that whale on the back, it might have been a look. It might have been a look like a whale.
I mean, like, nothing I can say. Maybe besides like the actual just plain black shirt. The pants with the stitching, horrible. The Vans, I don't have anything against Vans. I own Vans. They're fine.
I love Vans. I wear them on the regular.
And it has like these flowers on it. I don't fully understand.
Are those flowers or is that like an ink stain? I thought it was like an ink stain. No, like you know how they'll do like
yes.
It looks like the Rorschach test.
Yes.
No, it is flowers.
Oh,
they are flowers.
I missed that completely.
It's just not good, and I mean, whatever. I'm not even sure if he had a better look.
I don't think so.
Are they actually? Oh, they are flowers.
Yeah. So
now I do have to say, I know who my Project Runway is, who definitely had a better look. And who continues to trounce Daniel on and off the track.
Oh God.
Just Yuki Tsunoda.
Yuki
wore this little varsity jacket thing. Like one of those Letterman jackets.
Yeah.
And it was a simple, clean fit, white shoes, black pants, Letterman jacket. And he looks so cute. I think Yuki's kind of doing it. He's really doing his big one.
He's adorable, but he kind of looks like an overgrown child to me.
And that's okay. That's
all
right.
This looks like a big kid.
But you know what? He's a stylish big kid who looks put together, and I would take that any day over what Daniel Ricciardo's wearing.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. He's not my worst dress, but that does actually kind of segue into my best dress, who got it for the second time this week from me, Zhou Guan Yu, who basically had the white version of Yuki Tsunoda's outfit. So he has like a white Letterman with like red lining, white pants, and he looks really cute. I love this look for him. So I liked Yuki's, but when I saw Zhou Guan Yu, I was like, oh, that's the look.
I think also
this is a cute look. I would wear
right?
The picture that you saw, the picture that captured, I think Zhou versus Yuki is like, the Zhou picture is like so like editorial. It looks so nice.
Yep. I know exactly what you. And then Yuki is standing next to his big old bodyguard.
Yeah, and so I think that also played, because I actually saw that picture of Zhou Guan Yu, and I was like, oh, that was going to be my original Project Runway. But I decided, I was like, it's maybe a smidge too basic. So I was like, but yeah. So wait, who's your what not to wear?
What not to? Okay, I only say this not because I don't like what they're wearing, but just because it. You look tired, honey. You look worn and ragged. All right, Kevin Magnuson.
Oh,
you look tired. He got this just plain black sweatshirt on, and it's not that he looks bad. If you look at him, he looks like an exhausted single father of 4. No, look at him. He has
kids, right?
He does have kids, and I can tell they were running him ragged the day before this race.
Yeah.
Do you see him?
I do. He is in just some jeans and a sweatshirt.
No, and the funniest thing is that I'm looking at the comment, and the first comment is it me or does K-Mag look younger here? No, he does not. It is indeed just you.
He looks younger in those ice bath videos. That's where he looks younger.
I haven't seen the ice bath videos.
I'll send you the ice bath videos.
Okay.
Rest assured.
But yeah, no hate to him. He just looked tired. That's all.
I have to give an honorable mention of my Project Runway, not to any of the drivers, but to the fan who brought Lightning McQueen Crocs to have Charles Leclerc sign them. That's a fashion icon.
Get out. No, they did not.
Fashion
Crocs?
Lightning McQueen Crocs. Because everyone likes to say that Charles Leclerc's Lightning McQueen. I love that. That's absolutely wonderful. I need Lightning McQueen Crocs, actually. I need to have those.
Well, guys, for my Project Runway this week, I'm choosing this person, but I feel like going forward, I may have to stop choosing this person because
I think we know who it is.
It's Lewis Hamilton.
We know.
I feel like that's kind of like cheating a little bit. But anyway, he has like this really cute like orange bomber.
Yup.
With some regular old like blue jeans. I think they're regular.
They're pretty regular
jeans. Well, more than likely they're not, because Lewis, so some details are probably missing. And he has Tim's on, and I was just like, he looks like a very fashionable hood dude walking down the streets of New York, and something about it just saying to my heart. And
when I was going crazy for the Tims the other week, I was doing too much. Okay, continue.
No, I'm not saying that.
He's wearing Balmain.
But anyway. This is a really good look. I liked it. I think for me also too, like I'm a big fan of orange, and it just looks really good on Lewis.
I love the back of it with the like paint scratches across the back. I think it's really dope.
And so, but I think going forward, I might have to stop choosing Lewis, because I feel like he's always going to be the best dress on the back. And I feel like that's kind of cheating. So next week, I'm going to try my best. I'm going to try, as operative word here, my best not to choose Lewis and to choose someone else. But if no one gives me anything, guys, I'm so sorry. I'm choosing Lewis. But I'm going to try.
Listen, Lewis will always be our fashion king here. We know this.
He always eats.
Always. Because look at his outfits from the rest of the weekend. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for the little fashion breakdown, baddies. We have a couple pieces of F1 pop culture that have popped up. We're going to start with, in my opinion, the most important, which is Susie Wolff, the managing director of Formula One Academy, suing the FIA for all their shenanigans. Felicia, I don't know if we read you into this one yet, but basically earlier
Susie Wolff isn't Toto's wife?
Yes. That is part of the team.
Okay. Sorry.
Earlier in the year, the FIA announced, after some BS news article from F1 Insider, which is notoriously not reputable. They made an article being like, Susie Wolff is a woman, so she would obviously collude with her husband, because how do you not go home to your husband and tell him all of your business? You're a wife before you're a businesswoman.
Wait. Pause.
They were saying all this. Yes.
But what is it that they're saying that she went back and told him?
They don't know. They're just saying, she told him some stuff he wasn't supposed to know.
Pause. Let's take a second and break down players here. Okay. So we have Toto Wolff, the principal and partial owner of Mercedes. Yeah. His wife, what is her exact title?
She is the managing director of F1 Academy. F1 Academy being the branch of FIA-owned motorsport. It's supposed to bring women into the F1 ladder.
And they're married.
They are married.
Susie and Toto. Okay.
Notably, Susie has been in motorsport forever. She is a race car driver herself. I believe she was the last woman to drive an F1 car.
That's dope.
And notably, I'm pretty sure Susie has a better F1 racing pedigree than Toto.
Well,
what I've read, I've never personally, I've never seen Susie race, but from everything I've read, she's considered to be one of the best female drivers.
Yep.
And, wow.
Yeah.
I think she raced against either Christian or Lewis.
Really?
In the lower series? One of the two. I can't remember who. And whoever it was, she did beat them. I recall that she beat one of them.
Snaps.
So, snaps to her. But, yeah. So, she's the head of F1 Academy. And by virtue of that, she works with F1, the company. And so they put out this article basically she works with F1, the company. She's obviously taking home secrets and spilling them to her husband, because why wouldn't she? She's a woman. And then the FIA was like, we're going to open an investigation into this because there have been complaints.
Wait. What?
They were like, we're going to investigate because there have been complaints. They said complaints from teams. All of the teams put out statements going, we didn't complain. Every single team. So then, of course,
some teams, the language was very, I'm going to skirt around.
They all used the exact same statement.
Yeah.
And it was all we did not file an official complaint. They could have just been bitching.
And that's where you kind of get scared around, because you don't have to say you didn't file it, but you could have raised the issue.
You could have just been bitching to the director.
You could raise concern without filing an issue.
Yeah. So they open up the investigation. The Wolves basically go, what the fuck? All the teams go, it wasn't us. And then the FIA has to retract their investigation. But they never give any clarity. They never go, hey, this is why we opened it. Hey, we were wrong. They don't even apologize. And so,
when did they open this complaint on her?
January, right? And they closed it within 2 days. And
they never stated what it was that they were looking for, or that they were concerned
said, that accusations of collusion between an F1 team principal and an F1 employee.
That's absurd.
Yes. And so no apologies, no explanations, no clarity, nah. So Susie Wolff has announced that she will be suing F1 in the French, not F1, FIA in the French courts.
Good.
So we'll see how that pans out. I think that's wonderful for her. I hope they pay her a lot of money.
Yeah. Not that she doesn't already have plenty of it, but take some more.
Her husband's a billionaire, but take,
Take more, honey. Take more.
Yeah. All right. Our next piece of F1 pop culture, and while the other one is very important, I think this one is my favorite piece of F1 pop culture.
Oh, God.
Which is that the New Zealand Herald has reported that Daniel has been given an ultimatum that if he does not improve his performance within the next couple of races, they're giving his seat to Liam Lawson for the rest of the year.
So they literally said, fix it or you're out.
Fix it or you're out. Because viewers, you may not know this. Yuki has beat Daniel at every single race and qualifying this year because Daniel's fucking washed.
Daniel has coasted. So Daniel had not been competitive since he was his first
year at Renault?
His last year at Red Bull.
When was that?
I would argue his first year at Renault, he was competitive.
His first year, and he's just been coasting just on sheer popularity.
When was that though? Like when was
2019?
Yeah, I was about to say right before COVID.
Yep. Because here's my thing with Daniel. At what point do we stop saying it's the car?
I remember when I first started watching F1. I remember like the Daniel Ricciardo. I think like the first episode of Drive to Survive is like
he's the opening piece of Drive to Survive.
Yeah. And so like I remember quickly being like, oh, he has a fun personality, he seems cool. One thing I liked about him, he liked Austin, which I thought was really fun. And then I just realized, okay, you can only do personality. Personality only gets you so far in a sport.
My thing is, we've been through 3 iterations of cars. A pre-2022 regulation McLaren. A post-2022 regulation McLaren. And an AlphaTauri. And you've been shit in all 3.
Yeah.
At what point do we go, maybe it's not the car. It's okay to be washed. He is a personality hire at this point, and there's nothing wrong with being a personality hire.
He was literally a personality hire until they sent him to AlphaTauri.
Yeah, like, it's okay to be a personality hire. But when we're all sitting around having conversations about, there's so many good young drivers who don't have seats because Alonso is taking up a seat. Alonso's not taking up a seat. Alonso's not the one.
Alonso's not one I take. Daniel probably at the top of my list.
Daniel's top of my list. Alonso is at least putting up results. Alonso's giving the girls something.
Does Daniel even have a point yet?
Maybe like 1. Let me look it up.
Let's see.
F1 WPC.
Because he's supposed to be so great, I would hope that he would at least have a couple points by now.
Daniel Ricciardo has 0 points.
Well.
He is 17th in the championship. The only people doing worse than him right now are Esteban Ocon, Pierre Gasly, Valtteri Bottas, and Logan Sargent.
I'm not gonna lie, Bottas is another one. I'm kind of like, I really like Bottas, but I'm also like, what are you doing?
I think in his defense, not in his defense, because the fact that Zhou is beating him is kind of disappointing. For him, not for me. I'm perfectly fine with Zhou beating. Like, bro, come on. Like, the stake is bad, and they have screwed him in the pit stops, which we'll get to the stake F1 pit stops. We'll get to those pit stops, but I would say Daniel's
pit stops.
They're bad.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine, but those pitches are bad. Yeah, I'd say Daniel's definitely at the top of my list. As far as
someone has to be at the bottom of the grid. Someone has to be down there.
No, somebody does. And I'm saying
technically Logan.
I don't need Daniel to be at the bottom of the list. I would rather see Liam Lawson not be at the bottom of the list, because Liam Lawson wouldn't be at the bottom of the list. We don't need Daniel taking up space at the bottom of the list.
I think the last race kind of showed like there are drivers who can come in, take spots, young drivers who can come in, take a seat, and really actually have an impact on the sport.
Mm-hmm.
And you have Daniel, who's not, he had 0 impact. I mean, with the big old goose egg, like number of points he scored, 0 impact on the sport right now. And so at this point, I almost just want Daniel to crash at the next race, which is really bad. And I shouldn't wish that on anybody. Sorry. Maybe let me not say crash. I will play poorly the next race, just so that someone else can
not much better. But yes,
I want whatever needs to happen to get Liam Lawson in that seat by Miami to happen.
Yeah, I think
whatever I can do to get Liam in that seat by Miami, that's what I want.
All right then.
All right.
We're gonna go to Miami.
No, I'm not going to go to Miami. My coworker's going to Miami.
Oh, they are?
Really?
He pinged me today and was like, "Oh, I'm going to the Miami GP." And he was like super casual. He was like, "Oh, yeah, I have 3-day passes." And I'm like, "Are you kidding me?
That's
3-day passes to Miami."
And
he's like, "Oh, I've never been to an F1 race before. Like, I don't really know what is going on with it." He asked me, "Who's the top guy?" And I went, "I'm sorry. You're going to the Miami GP?
Which friend is it? Which friend is it?
It's just one of my coworkers.
Oh
It's just
my
one of my
God.
coworkers. I was gooped, and it's for his birthday, so I'm very happy for him. But I was gooped. I was gagged. I was struggling to keep it together and not freak out and be like, "Oh my God."
I'm still working on going to Austin, but
even I know better.
Insane, but I'm happy for him. I want him to live his best life. Anyway. Last piece of F1 pop culture before we get into this very news-filled race is Toto was doing an interview, I believe with Sky Sports Australia, some Australian news company. And basically the conversation was that when it comes to testing new components, new setups, new whatever, Lewis is going to be doing most of the testing this year. So just strap yourself in for a very hard year on Cult LH. It's going to be hard.
I think
part of the Lewis cult.
I mean, if I'm being honest, I get it.
No, I get it.
I get it. I think
I get it.
It sucks, but I
totally understand.
They were putting a lot of testing on Lewis's car last year as well. So
yeah, exactly.
I was about to say, weren't they already doing that?
Well, yes, but basically they've said like at almost every single race Lewis is going to be.
Yeah, I see, and I feel like, listen, you're not going to be here, so we don't have to,
worry about making sure you have the best car.
No, I totally get it. You have a 7-time world champion. You want him to test it. You have a choke artist in the other car. You can't give him things to test. He's gonna crash the car.
Oh my God!
I'm not referencing this week's crash. I'm
You sure?
I'm sure this was not a choke artist moment from George. He lost the car this week. Normally he's a choke artist, but was not a choke artist this week. But I'm sad for my boy Lewis. We're gonna keep seeing these bad results probably, and it's sad. It's sad.
It is. And he just looks so sad. That's what it is. He looks so sad.
We'll stand by him this year.
Absolutely, 100%.
We'll be standing by him. I don't care if he comes 20th every single race.
No, he would never do that.
I would be fighting in the Twitter comments.
He would never do that to us, though.
No.
He's better than that.
He knows what's up.
He will always at least... What?
I said he may be better than that, but is Mercedes better than that?
No.
Well...
I saw somebody joke and say that Lewis should give them wrong data so that they turn into German Alpi.
Listen, I think that would be funny. I think there needs to be a little bit more sabotaging in F1.
No.
We're gonna.
And you want Lewis to be the main saboteur?
Like Alonso before him, baby. Like Alonso before him.
Listen, you gotta do what you gotta do to get the leg up.
Y'all trifling.
We will be having a whole episode, maybe next week, on F1 scandals.
Oh, yes!
And I'm very excited to get you into some of the F1 scandals. We're not going to do the whole iceberg.
Here for it.
We're not going to do the whole iceberg, but we're going to hit a couple of the big ones.
Fine.
I'll be making a slide deck walking us through the biggies.
I'm geeked.
Yeah. All right. So that was all of our F1 pop culture. I guess we can get into this week's GP, which we had a lot of stuff happening actually at each part of the weekend. So for once, I'm going to start us off talking about practice.
I will admit, girl.
Either one of y'all get that reference?
No. You said hollering. What reference?
Practice. We're talking about practice. Y'all, Allen Iverson, press conference. Okay, it's fine.
I know what you're talking about. No.
Sorry, girl.
Basketball. Okay, I know it's a whole different sport, but geez.
Oh, well.
Okay. Sorry, moving along.
At least it's not hockey.
So I know that I'm the only one who watches practice here.
Yeah. Yes.
But we're talking about practice today because I believe in either FP2 or FP3, free practice, Alex Albon crashed his car.
Oh, that's really
bad. Yeah, Alex Albon crashed his car really, really badly. And just destroyed the chassis. They were not able to fix it.
What is the chassis?
The chassis is just the outside, the metal, the body, The body.
The body. Okay.
Yes. They were not able to fix it. And Williams being Williams, of course, they did not have a spare chassis.
Of course not.
Of course not. They didn't even have one that could be flown to Australia overnight.
Wow.
No spare chassis.
It just literally didn't exist.
It didn't exist. And they're actually not going to have a spare chassis until China? So if this happens again, next race, the same thing's going to go down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the same thing being that instead of, like, you know, now you only have one car, basically. You have one car, you have two drivers. So you got to decide who's going to drive.
That's terrible.
Anybody listening who doesn't really follow F1, generally when you're deciding who's going to drive if you only have one car, which rarely happens, so we don't really have to see the decision often, is who's going to score you the most points. Because when you're a bottom tier team, every point counts.
Mm-hmm.
The difference between, as James Valls explains a lot, the difference between 6th place and 10th place at the end of the year will probably be about a point or two. So it really matters what every single point that you get. And so the decision was made to have Alex Albon drive Logan Sargent's car and have Logan Sargent sit out this weekend. So very sad for Logie Bear.
I thought that was a strange decision, but I also was not fully sure, like, about the logistics of that.
Yeah. So the entire reasoning is that they were more confident that Alex would score points
than Logan.
Yes. Which, as sad as it is for Logan, is an almost certain bet. And by almost, I mean a certain bet because Logan has never outscored Alex.
Well, so basically they blatantly just said Alex is our number one driver.
That's a well-known fact.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would be like Red Bull going Max is our number one driver. You know, it's like, there's no controversy in you saying that. That's a fact. You know? Literally same vibe. But yeah, so there's a lot of controversy about this. And by a lot of controversy, the people on Twitter are very upset. Mostly the fangirls, of which I am part of, they're very upset. Basically on the notion that, and I think it's an understandable notion, if you're so confident that he won't score points, why did you re-sign him? If you're that confident he will not score points. And in my opinion, it's not necessarily that. It totally is that.
Well, if it's that confident, I think they just felt like...
Are more confident in Alex.
More confident in him. Which,
yeah. In my opinion, it's both. You're pretty confident Logan won't score points, and you are also definitely more confident that Alex will. It's both.
But I also think that goes to show where Williams, I think, is lacking strategy, because a lot of people could have predicted the outcome for Alex Albon in this race. Because he didn't score any points.
No, he didn't score.
And I feel as though... But to be honest, I can't even say Logan would have scored more points. I don't know.
No, Logan would not have scored more points.
So maybe it's just they just wanted to appease Alex.
I don't even think it's all that. I think genuinely, like, if you were to spin a dice, spin a wheel, Alex is getting more points on average than Logan will get.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Alex is just getting more points no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, like you said, a point is millions of dollars when you're a back marker team. Like,
interesting.
Losing by a point will cost you millions of dollars when you're not a good team. Like,
Jesus.
Red Bull can lose, Max can DNF. This will likely have no impact on the championship.
No.
Knock on wood.
I won't do it.
Gets that number one again. But
I won't do it.
Yeah.
I think it may have an impact.
I think you're wishful thinking. Wishful thinking,
I guess. I think this race really held my attention, or I think this weekend too also held my attention more than I think the last.
Well, that's a given. The last two races were really boring intrinsically. I
liked it. I like having not like, oh, who's going?
I think you not Max fans have a little bit of bias where the race will hold your attention as long as Max isn't winning.
Yes.
And that's okay.
That's
but
not
I don't
true.
think that made this race better.
Honestly, I just watched the rest of the race.
Like, the rest of the race.
I just don't pay attention to Max.
Exactly. Right?
No.
Cool.
I want the attention to be at the front of the race. Max just makes it boring.
And I would argue that if you
until his car goes out and catches on fire and blows up, then he's interesting.
I would argue that if you scratched out Max's name and wrote SIA there, the race went the exact same after he crashed out.
But I actually
fast car,
wanted Carlos to win.
You're alone there. A very fast car won by a considerable margin, was never challenged for the lead. His teammate and other top teams barely battled it out for spots 2 through 5, swapped it around a little bit. Teams executed team orders to put the person that they wanted to win at the front, and the race went exactly like it would have if Max's last name was Sainz. The race went the exact same as it would have if Max was out front.
Sure, but I don't like Max, though. And
that's okay. That's okay. All I'm saying
I mean, I don't dislike Max. He's a good driver. It is what it is. I think it was just sort of like, I think it was just interesting to see his car catch on fire. And then I think what held my attention, actually, yeah, you're right. You're right. Let me not.
It was just
I figure out an argument in my mind to say you were wrong, but I quite couldn't get my facts.
Wow, because you didn't have an argument.
I did. I just didn't want to spend all the time to form my argument, and so I'm just gonna let it ride.
Okay.
Yeah. All I'm gonna say is, if everybody thinks this race was more interesting, I think that's copium. I think it's copium to call this race more interesting. To cope with the fact that you know what it's gonna be like for the rest of the season, and that's okay.
Listen, it might be rear end blowout after rear end blowout. We don't know.
Yeah, no,
we don't know.
It was a brake issue, so I'm really not.
Listen, we don't know.
If it was an engine issue, I'd be concerned. I'd be worried about an engine issue.
We don't know. We don't know.
We don't know. Except I do.
No, I do. Listen, I'm just hoping for things to remain getting spicy. Not necessarily with crashes and explosions. Well, maybe with crashes and explosions. That would make it very interesting. But safe crashes and explosions.
Okay.
Yes.
We skipped right over it, so we can give Quali like a second of our time. Okay. And the second of my time that I'm going to give it, why does Mercedes do this to me?
What did they do this time?
Just give them a bad car.
Well, we've already established Mercedes is just a bad car, period.
It hurts to see Lewis go out in Q2.
Yeah, no, that was actually...
He went out Q2?
Mm-hmm. He was 11th.
Yeah. And I was like... I was a little bit... I feel like I expect Lewis to at least... Lewis and George to be top 10. So when... Or they have the skill and the ability to always be in the top 10. So when
anything below P6 is a disappointment.
I'm sorry?
What?
Anything below P6 is a disappointment if you're Mercedes.
Yeah, and so when I see P11, that means to me it's the car.
Oh, it's the car if he gets anything but first. That's a given. Anything but a win, it's the car.
There you go.
That's it. That's it.
I mean, I'm not arguing with you here.
Yeah. Max and Lewis are of similar cloths. If they're not winning, it's the car. If they're not winning, it's the car.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they are.
I'll do that. Yeah, sure, fine.
All right. We can actually now get back into the race, of which I have to say, my boys.
My one boy that I care about.
Okay, well, for me, I care about both of them. So imagine I tune in. I stay up until midnight. I'm sitting there on the couch with homies watching the F1 race. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm ready for Max to do his thing. I look down to sip my water, and I look up and I see Carlos pass Max. And I'm like, oh, Max, something went wrong. Something went wrong in the last lap. He's about to bounce back. He's about to bounce back. And then I start to see blue smoke. And my friends go, is that smoke coming out of Max's car? I'm like, nope. He locked up. The wind was blowing.
Not the denial.
I see Max's radio pop up, and I'm like, oh, shit. And he's like, my brakes. So I'm like, no, it's just a tear off. It's just a tear off. He'll go pit, they'll rip it out, he'll be behind, but he'll wake his way back up.
Nope.
Watching his brakes explode in the pit lane.
Baby. It blew out.
And then 7 laps later, Lewis's engine just cuts.
Oh my god, that one hurt me.
I
actually remember Lewis's because I was like, oh, because he just come out the pit lane, right?
Maybe.
No, maybe not. Maybe not.
I don't think so.
All I remember seeing was I was looking at the order, and I just remember seeing Lewis, and I was like, then I saw Yuki pass Lewis. I was like, Lewis, what are you doing? And then I slowly saw the next. I was like, oh hell.
If you listen to the replay, he's just driving, chugging along, and then it goes silent. I'm like,
because he's so frustrated. He's just like
train that lost its steam, like a little steam train.
For real. It's like the engine didn't even blow up. It didn't sputter out.
It just went.
It really went. Oh, it was so upsetting. So I'm sitting there watching 48 laps, and anybody who knows me will know a couple things about me. One, I don't like Carlos. I don't like Lando, and I especially don't like Carlando. And so you can imagine how this race is going for me. I sat there and I had to watch Sainz come home to first. I had to watch them tell my boy Leclerc to hold position. Painful. I had to watch them swap Oscar and Lando. It was bad. I almost turned it off. I've never turned off an F1 race since I started watching. Even in the worst times. I've never turned off an F1 race. This time, it was too much for me.
You turned it off?
No, I didn't turn it off. If we were not recording this podcast right now, I would have turned it off and gone to bed.
Oh my god!
Woken up
the funny
to the results.
I also just remembered that, like, I remember right before Lewis' car went out, he was like, "Oh, that car is fast," and they were just like, "Look how fast yours is not."
It was so upsetting. Oh my god!
Wait, didn't at one point Russell said, "Oh, that thing's like a rocket ship"?
Yeah.
And then that's when he crashed, and I was just like,
"No, he crashed literally like a couple turns before the end of the last lap."
Literally, he was either on the last lap or the second to last lap.
It was the last lap. Yeah.
It was the last lap.
Turn 6 of the last lap. Yeah.
Jesus Christ!
So I'm not gonna lie, I did fall asleep at after lap 45. I think 45 was like the last lap I remember.
Well, you're in luck. It was a boring race and nothing happened after lap 45 except for
I was
George's crash.
I feel like I have to put in a caveat. The only reason I'm happy Carlos won is because of the story. The whole, he just had appendicitis, he came back and won his first race. I thought that was very touching. I know y'all have your feelings about Carlos, but I thought it was
I don't have any feelings towards Carlos. I'm not like a hater like she is.
Let it be known. I don't necessarily hate Carlos.
I was about to say, what is your issue with
Carlos?
Carlando, if you don't mind?
Carlos is fine. He's whatever.
It's just that you like Charles better. Is that why?
One, obviously like Charles better. But me and Carlos have a couple beef. One, I don't like Carlos's camp. I think they're some of the most annoying team members I've ever seen in my life. His mama out here subtweeting Charles, saying Charles ain't got no honor.
Wait, what?
How is your mom? His mom liked, and maybe retweeted. His mom liked a tweet saying, "What's one thing Carlos Sainz has that Charles will never have? Honor." Girl, you're grown.
See, people got to keep their parents off Twitter.
You're grown. And then one of his little friends constantly subtweets and tweets about Carlos being better than Charles. I just don't love Carlos fans. I've got a couple moots on Twitter that are Carlos fans, but they have good sense in there. They just like him. I don't like getting onto Twitter and seeing Carlos fans being like, "Oh, well, Carlos is factually better than Charles." I'm like, factually incorrect. He is factually worse. You just like him more, and that's okay. The thing you like doesn't have to be the best. I like lots of things that aren't the best. I like Alex Albon. Like, please. And I can like him and he's not the best. I like him and he's not the best.
I do like that.
I like him and he's not the best. Lando, I've said this before. I've been cooked on Twitter for this before. Lando just reminds me of every 24-year-old man I've ever met in my life. And I don't need to see more of them.
Oh my God.
Like, I don't need to see more of them. I also think that Lando does the thing that a lot of men do. where they say something you dislike. You go, I dislike that. And then they go, but you just didn't get it. And I'm like, no, I got it. I got it the first time. I just didn't like it. And that's okay. Like when he kept saying, I have no sympathy for Daniel. I have no sympathy for Daniel. Girl, I don't like Daniel either. And you don't see me out here saying I have no sympathy for something that is obviously sympathetic. He lost his job. That's like one of the most sympathetic things in the world. Like, you have no sympathy? And he's like, no, you guys didn't get it. I just mean I don't feel bad for him. And I'm like, that's not arguably helpful. Worse. You've arguably worded that worse. And it's like, bro, it's okay that you don't feel bad for him. Just stop lying to me and telling me that I'm not getting it. No, I get it. You don't feel bad for him. And that's fine. But just, we can move on from there.
Oh, God.
Also, I'm a firm believer. I love a good parasocial relationship. Let it be known. I love being parasocial online. Tom and Zendaya, my bookies. I'm very parasocial about Tom and Zendaya.
Oh my God.
I'm not parasocial enough to think that I'm watching the friendship of a lifetime in Carlos and Lando. They're just friends.
Oh God, no.
They're just buddies. People are acting like they're the friendship of like they're just friends. It's cool.
They're colleagues.
They're really good coworkers.
They're contemporaries.
Yeah, they're a really good work besties. I have great work besties. Hopefully they're listening right now. Shout out work besties.
What up, y'all?
But they are not soulmates.
No.
People are acting like they're soulmates. No. And the thing is, it's not even the shippers acting like they're soulmates. If the people who write fanfic about Carlos and Lando want to act like they're soulmates, all props to you. You're creating art. The people who aren't creating art, I need you to calm down. Chill out. Just a little bit. If you're not creating Carlos Lando fanfic, I need you to chill out a little bit.
No, well. It is, listen, no. Anyway, well, it was...
I think the only thing we haven't fully covered is George's crash. And I really have two statements about it. One, why does George always crash when Carlos is about to win? I think we need to study that. It's 3 times now, actually. This has happened. So I think that's just kind of crazy. I do have to say, as much as I'm a George hater, I'm a George anti, I will slander George up and down the podcast. The crash was very scary. Because he was in the middle of the track. And he got on the radio to scream and beg for a red flag. So people didn't hit him.
The audio from that was actually kind of terrifying, not gonna lie.
Because F1 drivers have died before being hit in the middle of the track. Notably, I believe Antoine Hubert died being hit in the middle of a track.
Jesus.
One of their friends. Like one of their friends.
Scariest crash I've ever seen.
Yeah. And they did not red flag it. So
oh my God.
That's very upsetting. Hope George is doing well. But yeah, that was kind of fucked up.
I actually saw, so I obviously didn't watch. I didn't see George's crash. I saw it twice, so I had to watch it during the F1 highlights. But I was just like, wow, he really lost it. Like, I would just be like that frustration of losing it right when you're at the finish line or almost at the finish line. Right. That has to be like just peak frustration, peak. Like, I would just be losing my mind. Like, everybody, whether it's everyone else's fault or not, I'm just upset, and everyone's getting it. So I could kind of,
So everybody to piss you off.
Whatever, I guess maybe. But one thing I do want to mention about this GP, I loved. This has actually nothing to do with the actual race itself. I love the area views. I think this is one of like the nicest, like scenic.
Oh, it's very pretty.
Well, I shouldn't say the nice. It's a very scenic.
It's very pretty.
I really liked it. It's like along the water in some parts, and I was like, like I really love the aerial view. So
it's definitely gorgeous.
It's a very pretty. Did we go over the track?
Oh my gosh, you are so right. We did not go through the stats for this track. I'm so sorry, y'all.
No, you're good. You're good.
So we have the Australian Grand Prix. It is held at Albert Park. And it actually has its contract until 2035, which is super cool.
Oh, nice.
It is one of the oldest surviving motorsports competitions held in Australia because it has moved around a lot. I believe it has had 23 different venues.
Australia?
In like the Australian Grand Prix is just the name of the Grand Prix in the country. It's been held at lots of different venues. Sorry. And it has been a motorsport venue since 1928, but obviously it became part of the F1 World Championship in 1985. It has been held at Albert Park since 1996, except for during the pandemic. And before Albert Park, it was held in Adelaide. About the track, it has 4 DRS zones, which I kind of like when it has a lot of DRS zones. I'm personally pro DRS zones.
What's the smallest? I mean, what's the most DRS zones that a track has? Is it
4?
4? Okay.
Yeah, I think it's 4 DRS zones. The most of the track has. It has 58 laps, and it is 5.23 kilometers. I would tell you in miles, but I'm not seeing the miles right now. Sorry. And actually, the lap record was set by Charles Leclerc this year.
Oh, I did see that.
At 1 minute and 19 seconds. So super fun, super cool. Notable about this track is that it has 4 DRS zones, but only 2 DRS detection zones. So, for example, one of the DRS detection zones is at turn 6. And so if you are behind somebody by less than a second at turn 6, you will get DRS on the straight from 8 to 9 and on the straight from 10 to 11. Even if you pass them in between.
Wow.
Because it gives you the power to press DRS.
Really?
Yeah. So you'll have the ability to use DRS. I don't know if they have changed that so that you can't use it if there's nobody ahead of you, but I think you still have the ability to do that. So.
Interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's a little bit about the Australian Grand Prix. I will actually remember to do track stats when we do China. No worries. I know all of you definitely love hearing how many laps the track has.
I like it.
I do it for you.
Thank you.
Of course. All right. Well, that was the Australian Grand Prix. We have China in a couple weeks.
Yes.
Which means we'll have an F1 102 next week.
Hey.
And at Felicia's request, we're going to cover some scandals. I brought it up last time. We're not only going to cover the Nazi orgy, we're going to spend some extra time covering every Fernando Alonso scandal there has been in F1. There's been numerous.
Crashgate? We have to do
Crashgate, Spygate, this gate, that gate, Vegas Gate. We got lots of gates.
Right.
I don't even think Vegas Gate actually had anything to do with Alonso. But but we will cover all of those. And as a little closing question, because our last closing question might have gone a little sideways, but it's still fun to have a closing question.
We'll talk about what's out there.
We'll talk about it. Baddies. What is your current favorite reality show, and which driver would you want to see star on it?
Ooh, that's a good question. Okay, so as of right now, what I'm watching, I am watching Maths Australia.
What is that?
Okay, wait, where are you watching Maths Australia? Because I
Married at First Sight Australia. I'm watching it on YouTube, which I don't know if I should say that live. No, so if what me rambling. If you search Maths Australia, like first thing in the morning when you wake up, it's still there. If you wait till 2:00, it's probably been removed.
Oh my god!
You have to watch it. It's first thing in the morning. I literally get up, and when I'm usually I have a consistent morning meeting now. As soon as I'm done with that, I'm pulling it up on, and right now it actually pops up on my homepage on YouTube to watch it.
Amazing.
Of course it does.
But yeah. Maths Australia, and who would I want to be on Maths Australia? Who would be good? So I don't know if there's something about it that I'm leaning towards a Fernando Alonso on Maths.
Ooh.
But I feel like he would cause the drama because Fernando is kind of Fernando is a bit
Say it.
I think I already said it. He's kind of like an ass, and I could see him I mean, he's been like a perpetual bachelor. He's in his 40s.
Mm-hmm.
I could see him be, and there's actually, now I think about it, there's actually a husband on Maps right now who is giving me like Alonzo vibes, and he got paired off with a woman who's like, I don't know how to describe her, but she's very much like Earth Mother. She's like crystals, good vibes. Like she wears like these crazy, like ridiculous outfits. She's like one of the best people on Math. She's one of the best wives on Math. But see someone like that paired with Fernando Alonso, I think could actually be like really good television.
That's hilarious.
I have to say, Fernando Alonso famously said that his dedication to F1 left him with no friends, no family, no free time, no privacy, no wife, and no kids. So maybe Maps would go well for him.
I think you'd be a good one. I think I think Charles may be an interesting one on.
That'd be fun.
Maths as well. But yeah, I think those two. That's just because Maths is what I'm currently watching. I think if it was another season, I may have said Love Island.
That's valid. I think that for me, I have two shows because one that just finished and one that I was watching. I was watching The Traitors. I love The Traitors.
Ooh.
I love The Traitors so much. I would love to see Pierre Gasly on The Traitors because I feel like he's willing to get messy. And I like that about him. He loves a gossip sesh and he's willing to get messy, so I think he'd do great. I am currently watching Summer House, the white one, not Martha's Vineyard right now. Because Martha's Vineyard actually, I believe, premiered... The
white one. Oh my God.
Have you seen Summer House, Felicia?
No, I have not.
Look up Summer House. And
no, I've seen like the things for it, but I haven't seen it.
Exactly. So Martha's House, Summer House, Martha's Vineyard. I believe actually the episode came out tonight, so I'm about to off this podcast and go watch. But on Summer House, I would want to see Max Verstappen, mostly just because I don't know if you guys have ever seen videos of Max while he's drunk. He is so funny. It's so much fun. I would kill to watch episodes of Max getting drunk all the time.
He seems like he could be really cool drunk.
He seems like a really fun drunk. I want to see
someone you'd really want to hang out with and party with.
Yeah, like I want to see Max on Summer House. I want to see Max chugging Loverboy. I also want to see Max, unsing in the pool. I think it would be so much fun.
Actually, I think that wouldn't be my first go-to for Summer House, but I think it makes sense.
I want to see.
Yeah, I think that'd be a cool one.
No, my first go-to would be Lewis due to the not due to anything that he could actually contribute to the show, but due to their high frequency of swimsuit time would be Lewis.
Okay, so that was gonna be my if I was Love Island was still on, that would have been my choice, and I would have said Lewis.
Yeah,
for similar reasons. And I think Lewis would have been a great bombshell.
Oh my! Can you imagine? You're sitting there in the villa, coupled up with your man, and a hot new bombshell enters the villa.
Not a bombshell.
It's Lewis. You're gonna leave your man. The UK is not gonna blame
immediately.
The UK is gonna be like, what do you feel?
I could see Lewis being like an Adam Collard.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. All right, Felicia, what show are you dropping an F1 driver into?
Well, I don't know, because I'm currently watching Real Housewives of Potomac, and I don't necessarily know if any of these drivers would survive there.
I think Esteban Ocon could do a great job on Real Housewives of Potomac as basically take Candace's husband. His name's Chris or something.
Chris, yeah.
Yeah, I think swap Chris for Esteban just because when Esteban gets messy, Esteban gets messy. When him and Checo used to be teammates, they almost crashed into each other. Okay. And Esteban got on Twitter and after the race and went, such a good race until Checo tried to fucking kill me by putting me in a wall. Anyway, great result for the team.
Oh my God.
Esteban gets messy when he wants to.
Oh my God.
Esteban is so good when he wants to. I can see Esteban playing a similar role to Chris on Real Housewives of Potomac.
Oh my God.
So good.
That would be hilarious.
But you make your choice. Sorry. I didn't mean to make your choice for you.
I don't have a choice right now. I'm looking at the
reality show you're watching?
That's all I'm watching right now.
Ooh. You gotta
let me
get
see.
on that.
What else have I been watching? I've been watching a lot of YouTube, so I haven't been in the reality TV sphere.
Are you caught up on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City?
Girl, no.
You need to watch Real Housewives of Salt Lake City.
Wait.
You need to.
You mean...
Yes.
Has it started up again since Monica?
No. Oh, but you saw Monica.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay.
I saw Monica. I saw the reunion. I saw all that. Been seen that.
Okay, just checking. Just making sure.
Yeah, but the Housewives of Potomac finale was yesterday, so I literally was watching it yesterday. I didn't even watch the finale though, but I watched up until it. Yeah. So I'll probably go watch the finale
Candace
today.
Is gone. Candace is no longer on Real Housewives of Potomac. It's sad.
Neither Robin.
Huh?
Neither Robin.
Robin's not going to be on it?
Oh, they kicked Robin off.
Girl, I'm about to watch the next season.
Finally, it's about time.
Maybe I'll actually watch next season. Let's see Robin Dixon.
I was talking about her. I was like, I'd prefer you not be there. Like, if I had to pick Robin, Giselle, I would actually pick Giselle. I'm not gonna lie.
Giselle, because at least Giselle's not making us watch her husband lie to her.
Ooh, inside of her face.
Like,
Giselle just doesn't like her.
Giselle kept her pastor's lies to off screen and only got called on them at the reunion. I have to watch her pastor lie to her face.
One thing about Giselle, I will say, just talking about Real Housewives of Potomac, Giselle, and I'll be interested because I haven't really watched the season. I've kind of been keeping up, but I haven't really watched it. Giselle, when it comes to reunions, she's usually on mute.
Yes.
Not like doing a lot of back and forth.
Nope.
Come for her, she's going to be like, well, whatever. Or, okay.
Yep.
You know? And I think that's also where a lot of the frustration lies. It's like, we're here rehashing it. Like, say what you have to say. You had a whole lot to say during the season, so say what you have to say now.
Exactly. And I always talk big in your confessionals and whatnot.
But I also think that helps Giselle because it almost like quells the anger a little bit so that when you move into the next season, you're not like rah up from the reunion.
Uh-huh.
Because it hasn't really given you anything. And then she starts off on the next person, whoever she wants to target the next season.
I cannot stand that woman sometimes, I swear.
Anyway.
She makes good TV.
All
right, ladies. I got a couple of things I gotta go do.
That is the end of our pod. If you're listening, please rate, review, subscribe. Check us out wherever you can listen to podcasts. If we have a video episode, you can check us out on the YouTube. Last week we did F1 101, so you can check out our little presentation there. You know, our podcast only gets better as more people listen to it, so send it to your friends, your family, your foe. Okay? Send it to...
Speaking of which... Shout out to Jamila and Marcel, because Marcel, my friend, is listening in. I just wanted to say, hey,
Thank you, Jamila and Marcel. Hey, Jamila and Marcel, send it to whoever you think would crash on the last lap of the Australian Grand Prix and tell them they're thinking of them. Alrighty. Well, thank you for listening. Tune in next week and every week to hear us chat about F1. Bye, baddies.